Good afternoon. I'm Cindy Bertram. Thanks for joining me today on Good Ship Happens. And yes, I love wearing blue because it looks like the ocean. I'm going through ship withdrawal right now, but I do plan to maybe try and take a cruise this fall, okay? Because the ocean just relaxes me. It's so great, and a lot of good things going on, of course, too, with new ships still coming out this year, which is so exciting. Oh my gosh. Yes. And of course, new ships coming out next year in 2027 already. They made announcements, which was really great. I'll share more about that too, which is great too. But once again, too, as far as some updates too, is one thing just came up too is a very fantastic cruise line. AMA Waterways. They have been around now for 23 years, and they are still, of course, family owned. It's, of course, Kristen Kartz, also Rudy Schreiner, and he's the co-founder too, another family member too. But what it was, Rudy is actually known as the architect of the river cruise industry. Okay, he's got a great story. He was actually from Austria originally, came to the U.S. He was an architect over there, came to the U.S. for a project, and then he actually went down to South America to work on something, and he built a raft. Okay, how funny. But anyway, he relocated after that project was done to New Orleans and then worked with different people there. Also, the fun thing is, he also did his MBA at Loyola. I did my MBA at Loyola near Chicago, okay, Loyola gal. But Rudy actually did his MBA at Loyola New Orleans. So we're alumni, which is really fun. Helped other people start river cruising, and then he obviously came with the idea to maybe start a river cruise himself too. That was back 23 years ago, which is great too. So what they do is they have beautiful ships, and of course he's known as the architect. And what they did too is, this is something he's been working on for a couple of years. It's taken a little bit longer, but once again, they just christened, named their new ship sailing on the Magdalena River in South America, and the ship is called the Ama Magdalena, and is named a different. They just named the ship, of course, to just start sailing. But what they do is they do these cruises on the Magdalena River in South America, and it's very cultural embrace, plus a lot of different things going on too. And of course, like I said, they actually had um, let's see here, um, different people there, of course, at the event, which is great too. And this just took place, of course, um, earlier in May, I think. But what they did was they chose Mariana. Let me see if I pronounce it correctly. Mariana Shrinklell Donato, who actually had a hand with the interior design, and she actually was the godmother. Okay, and she mentioned the ship carries the soul of our country, which is great too. So that was great, and looks such a beautiful, beautiful culture to visit too. Of course, remember that it's also very, very small course because going down the Magdalena River. Also, they've got their sister vessel, another one going to be sailing on the Magdalena River later on this year, and her name is Ama Melodia. Maybe it's Melodia. I'm not sure, but anyway, it looks great too because they did a special private celebration too at the I think it's Barranquilla Carnival with an exclusive jazz performance, which is really great. I just wrote about it, of course, late last year before the ship came out, but just how exciting. I know they delayed it, but once again, with the Ama Magdalena, she only can carry 60 guests, okay? And she was designed in close collaboration with the Colombian craftspeople and artisans, and which is great too, but just, it's more just a celebration of the new ship. It was really a bold step forward in river cruising, which is really, really great too. I think this is wonderful too. So yes, just wonderful things. They just started there too, and the area looks beautiful. So keep in mind too, because once again, Ama Waterways just launched their new Ama Magdalena ship. She sails the Magdalena rivers in South America. Only 60 guests on board, and they make different stuff. It looks absolutely exquisite, beautiful. I'd love to do it sometime too, myself too. So keep it in mind too, just in case, because once again, when you think about cruise ships, okay, at times they are huge, but once again, you've got options out there. People say, okay, Cindy, what's the best cruise for me to take? Well, you know what? It goes back to what you want to see, where you want to go, how to visit and explore things too. I mean, not that big ships are bad because they're like a whole floating city, so to speak, but once again, there's so many choices out there. And I think that's what's really exciting about where you want to go, what you want to see too. And this is just another great example of a very successful river cruise line celebrating 23 years in existence. And they just launched finally their Magdalena ship. It was christened in with Columbia festivities too. And as far as other ships coming out, I'll share more about ships still coming out this year, but also for new ships coming out next year already. Yes, Four Seasons 1, okay, and that is going to have her inaugural sailing on January 25th next year. 7-night Les Antilles, leaving Antigua and then St. Lucia from Barbados to Aruba, and it's her maiden season. Also, as mentioned, she has capacity for 190 guests. Plus, what I think is really, really fun about this one is, guess who's going to be captain of this ship? Captain Kate McHugh. Yes. She's coming back, and she's going to be captain of Four Seasons 1, which is so exciting. It matters she's such a great person, social media person, too, and that's really great because she's coming back, and she's going to be a captain of the Four Seasons ship. Four Seasons 1, okay? Something else kind of fun, too, is another ship coming out in January 2026 already, is a Star Seeker. That's Windstar Cruises, and that's their new ship, Windstar Cruises, and her guest capacity is 228 guests. Also, she's going to be sailing in the Caribbean, Alaska, also Japan. And then what she's doing, too, is she's actually doing her inaugural sailing December 28th of this year on a 17-day transatlantic cruise from Malaga to Miami, okay? Also, Emerald Cruises also has a new ship coming out, the Emerald Kaya. She'll come out in April next year, and April 4th is their inaugural sailing. Also, what's really fun, too, is next year, Norwegian Cruise Lines has a new ship coming out, too, the Norwegian Luma. She'll debut in April next year. Her guest capacity is 3,550 guests, which is great. And like I said, they're still working on what she's doing, too. Another ship coming out, too, next year is Legend of the Seas. That's Royal Caribbean's new ship coming out next year in July. And her guest capacity is going to be 5,610 guests based on double occupancy. And her main season will be in the summer Mediterranean and year-round Western and Southern Caribbean cruises, okay? And then also Four Seasons Yachts has another ship coming out too in next year. They haven't revealed more details yet, but they have another ship coming out next year too. Of course, Windstar Cruises has another ship coming out too in December next year called the Star Explorer. And they're still working on things too, but once again, the Star Explorer will be Windstar Cruises' new ship coming out in December of next year. Also, we've got another MSC cruise ship coming out next year, too. It's called the World Asia, coming out in 2026. They haven't mentioned the dates, whatever, too. They're still working on that, but also it's going to be larger ship, of course. I think similar to the MSC World America, which is on the Crescent Cruise, to myself in April. It was gorgeous, beautiful, different areas, amazing. And as mentioned, also we've got Explorer 3, that's Explorer Journeys' new ship. They've got Explorer 1, Explorer 2 already sailing, but Explorer 3 is coming out next year too in August 2026. Keep in mind, once again, with Explorer Journeys, they're part of the MSC Group. MSC Group is actually family-owned and amazing family. They've got their Mediterranean shipping company, which they've had for years and years and years, their container shipping company. They've got MSC Cruises, which has been around for about 30 years now, and they've got, of course, an office in the U.S. too, which is great too. And also, it was on the World America, it was a gorgeous ship. Also, they got Explorer Journeys, which they launched about 2 or 3 years ago. That is their luxury cruise line. And so, Explorer Journeys has their third ship coming out in August of 2026. And once again, that one, it's luxury, and will have a capacity of 926 guests at double occupancy too. So, she'll be sailing in the Mediterranean, Northern Europe, Greenland, and Iceland, which is great. also East Coast, and also Caribbean too. And American Cruise Lines, they've been growing too. That's really a great cruise line too to think about too. They're family owned. American Cruise Lines also owns their own company that actually builds their ships too, and they're smaller. They got their American Maverick. I love that name, American Maverick. Okay. Also, American Ranger coming out next year, and their capacities for each ship is just 125 guests. Okay. I'll be sharing about that later on too. But that's kind of fun with new ships coming out because there's so many. Even next year, I can spend more time talking about 2027. But you know what? I'll wait another week or two to mention about ships coming out in 2027 because there's many more announcements too, which is great too. So that's really kind of fun too because I like ships, and with the new ships coming up too is once again keep in mind that with the cruise industry, they've been working so hard at going to liquefied natural gas, being net zero by 2050. Cruise lines are jumping like crazy. They also use shore power when it's available. In fact, what's really great too is with the Port Miami, they have shore power there too, which is great. So cruise ships can actually power to shore power right there too, which is great. Once again, they're doing phenomenal things as far as going to net zero carbon. Also, what they're doing is to really, really make sure that waste doesn't go in the ocean. Recycle is really great. They're doing too, and that's really kind of fun too. Okay. Something else too is we've got a special anniversary coming up too. Cruise line. We think about cruise lines because the cruise industry really, I think the modern day cruise industry really started maybe 50 some years ago, and great stories. I've read about that before too, but what's great too is with the cruise industry, we've got a cruise line that's been around more than 100 years, okay? Anybody know what the name of that cruise line is? It's actually Cunard Line, okay? What they're doing is they're celebrating their 185th anniversary. Cunard Line is actually, they call it Cunard, but actually they are a luxury cruise brand, and they're celebrating the 185th anniversary. And what they're doing is they're doing some sales right now. And they just launched their 185th anniversary sale across 185 different voyages. And they got fares that start at just $899 per person plus the $185 onboard credit per stateroom. And once again, now through July 9th, which is coming up pretty soon, guests can take advantage of this special anniversary sale, okay? And it's available on select sailings of their ships from 2025 through 2027. Alaska, Caribbean, Canada, Europe, Mediterranean, the Panama Canal, also transatlantic crossings and segments of the world voyage too. And Cunard Line actually has 4 different ships, okay? Their flagship, of course, is the Queen Mary II. They also have their Queen Victoria, their newly transformed Queen Elizabeth, and the new ship, the Queen Anne. So once again, they're celebrating 185 years, which I think is phenomenal, right? Of unforgettable memories, with their 4 different ships, which is great too. And it's just really, really, I think, a great way to kind of think about a different way to maybe celebrate an anniversary, right? 185 years, which is great. And as far as with these incredible rates too, is I know they're going to be offering summer in Alaska on the Queen Elizabeth, okay? She'll be sailing from Seattle for the first time, actually this summer, for a series of 7 to 11 night voyages to Alaska, which is absolutely beautiful on different itineraries. Cruising through Glacier Bay National Park, Hubbard Glacier, which I've seen is gorgeous, Tracy Arm Fjord, as well as a few days in several ports, including Juneau, Ketchikan, Skagway, Sitka, and Strait Point. Also, winter in the Caribbean, where the Queen Elizabeth, they've got some sailings from Miami starting October 16th this year to April 14th next year. Guests can actually explore their the beautiful waters in the Caribbean and stops in ports including St. Lucia, which I love, Jamaica, Honduras, Mexico, St. Lucia, St. Thomas, Barbados, and Puerto Rico, among others. Also got their Transatlantic Fashion Week aboard the Queen Mary II, and this is a 7-night eastbound transatlantic crossing that sails October 31st through November 7th. this year, as well as the Queen Mary 2, which will welcome the return of this Transatlantic Fashion Week, which is now their 5th edition. And it's actually Iconic Voyage, which is actually headlined by designer Christian Serrano with fashion icons Coco Rocha and also Bob Mackie, which is great. So keep in mind too, because once again, if you like wearing beautiful clothes, I do, but I think it's kind of fun to think about this Transatlantic Fashion Week on board a cruise ship. Okay, which is really, really great. So keep in mind too, because once again, they do phenomenal things. It's so exciting to see Cunard Line actually celebrating their 185 years sailing, which is great. 4 ships, and beautiful. Okay. Also, once again, I mentioned we've got different ships coming out with MSC Cruises. I was just on the christening of MSC World America, but also a bit more about the launch of the MSC World Asia, which I mentioned. Just got an email about this too from their media people, but MSC Cruises is counting down 18 months until the launch of their MSC World Asia, which will be taking place in 2026 and our Mediterranean debut. Okay, and it's kind of fun because this new flagship is going to start sailing the Mediterranean December 11th, 2026, and offer different itineraries 2026, also 2027, also summer 2027 too. And they just shared a bit more details too, so that's kind of fun too. Because like I said, it's just what they're doing too, and they've got on board different dining options, of course. They've got their new on board the ship. They've got their new Pan Asian specialty restaurant, and they haven't really named the venue yet, but it's going to have an elevated dining experience featuring food and drink offerings, focusing on Southeast Asian cuisine too. New, it's kind of fun. They got their Tree of Life. It's actually the Spiral. It's going to be the longest dry slide at sea at 266.7 feet. Okay, and they got Sweet Temptations, which is a really great destination idea for people that really like maybe sweets, including gelato, cakes, frozen yogurt, signature shakes, and more. Food stations. They've got their Promenade Bites, which is a casual spot serving different prepared street food snacks too. They got their Coffee Emporium. This is for coffee lovers too. Different types of blends too. And also they've got bar and food, American classic foods too. They've got their All-Star Sports Bar. What they do is they offer festive game day atmosphere featuring large screens, interactive games, also an outdoor sea-facing terrace, which is great for sports fans that may want to like digital shuffleboard and darts, that kind of stuff too. And then of course too is they've got more than 40 bars, lounges, and restaurants on board. Okay, yes, so you got a lot of choices. You can't run out. Okay, plus special restaurants too. That of course includes their Butcher's Cut Steakhouse. They got their Kato Sushi and Teppanyaki. Also, they've got, let's see here, some popular bars include their classic British pub, which is beautiful. And they've got a full-scale microbrewery making signature beers on the ship. And I saw that on the World America. It was great. Just amazing. It was packed, okay? Also, they've got the harbor, which is a new outdoor area park for the family adventurers district. Cliffhanger, which I saw several times. I was on the World America. I didn't do it, okay, but it's the overhanging swing, okay, which is beautiful. I mean, I didn't have a chance to do it, but I don't know. I like swings, but it seemed like it was a little high up, okay, but it's very safe, okay. It's a thrilling river over water swing ride that really has guests swing back and forth 165 feet above the ocean below. Okay, some people loved it. Some people were kind of like, but hey, that's okay. Whatever you want to do, too, it's great too. And they've got, of course, their 7 different pools. They've got hot tubs. Also great too is they've got, of course, different accommodations. Something very special too is on board this ship too is they've got their MSC Yacht Club, and it's their ship within a ship concept. They started doing this about, oh, let's see here, at least 10 years ago. I actually chanced to see on the MSCI Club on the World Divina, on the MSCI Divina, back in 2014. It was amazing, okay? You have your own private area. They've added more to the area too, which is gorgeous, amazing. Your own private restaurant, outdoor areas, including your own private pool, your own private restaurant, casual places to eat too right there, which is great too, and your own private pool area, and you have your own private butler service, which is great, but it's beautiful. And on the new ship coming out next year with their MSCI Club, they have 144 luxury suites, and it's key card access only to their dedicated lounge and restaurant, which is gorgeous. Oh my gosh, when I was on the World of America, I saw it, and it was just amazing. So beautiful what they've done too. They got their private pool, sun deck, of course, 24-hour butler service, and concierge, and it's all within reach of anything else you want to do too, but it's just gorgeous. Like I said, to me, when I stayed on the MSCI Club on the Divina back in 2014, it's amazing, okay? And the article I wrote when I came back was called Inside the MSCI Club, The Butler Did It, okay? It's amazing. He wanted to pack my clothes. One morning, I had a friend I was going with, and I went down to a Wednesday lounge in our area, of course, too, and called me to see, do you want anything? I said, well, you know, a cup of cappuccino would be nice. Well, anyway, my friend came back empty-handed, right? But guess who brought my cup of cappuccino? My butler. Yes, it was amazing, just amazing. So it's definitely great, and it's beautiful areas too. You still have access to the rest of the ship, which is gorgeous too, but just keep in mind too. So that's kind of fun too with new ship coming out next year with the MSC Cruises. That's the World America coming out next year too. And once again too is they just mentioned, this came up too, is they've got MSC Cruises is actually going to be sailing from Galveston in November, which is great because, you know, people say, okay, where can you sail from? Well, so many ports, okay? What's really fun too is Star of the Seas, which is Royal Caribbean's new ship coming out this year too, is going to be sailing from Port Canaveral, okay? Also, you've got Port Miami, Port in Fort Lauderdale, you've got Port Everglades, plus you've got ships sailing at Galveston too, and with MSC Cruises, they're going to be sailing out of Galveston this November. And they just mentioned something kind of new too, and it's going to be a cutting-edge robotic arm ride as a Seascapes headline attraction. That's their ship going to be sailing out of Galveston. It's called Roboton. I actually had a chance to see it. It was a Seascape christening cruise. It's really kind of fun. I didn't have chance to do it, but it's really kind of fun because it's actually it's a cutting-edge robotic arm ride, okay? And a good way to see different things, too. Like I said, I didn't have a chance to see that one. It was actually on the Seascape myself for a christening a couple years ago, but it's still kind of fun, too. So, also, they got MSC Cruises on this ship, of course, is they've got some next generation type of entertainment options, too. They've got their VR motorcycles, and also, they got their Formula Racer. You can actually perfect car racing enthusiasts too, and they've also got their immersive XD cinema, where guests can actually put on their 3D glasses as they dive into alternate worlds. You know, where players will battle out with different zombies, things too. They've also got kind of fun too, is they've got their VR 360 flight simulator, and this ride actually offers guests the ultimate virtual motion experience, complete with VR headsets, an impressive special effects, and just really beautiful things to do on board a cruise ship too, which is fun too. So keep that in mind too. And like I said, with Robotron, it's the first robotic arm at sea. It delivers a roller coaster-like experience with a twist because it's suspended nearly 175 feet above the sea. But riders flip and spin and soar with wide open views of the horizon before rising above them too. It's great too. I had a chance to see one on the MSC Seaside myself, or Seascape, but didn't have a chance to do it. It was really fun too. So keep it in mind. And something else kind of fun too is with, I mentioned before too, but we've got different ships, of course, too, that have been renovated too. And one is actually Norwegian Cruise Line. The cruise line, they sail, of course, to Alaska, the Caribbean, different places, but they actually have one ship that actually sails in Hawaii, okay? It's their Pride of America. And their Pride of America just went through and under, she just went over dry dock on the West Coast, and they paused their operations last April, and it's just 2,100 guests just returned to Honolulu on June 7th, okay? And the ship is welcoming people back on 7-night cruises in Hawaii, which is great. Also, it's the industry's only large cruise ship sailing, flying the U.S. flag, offers inter-island cruises that feature visits to Honolulu, Hilo, and Kona, which is great. And it provides guests with nearly 100 hours of port time, which is great too. And it's a great way, I think, to see Hawaii too, because I love cruising. And when you go to different places, what's really fun too is you see so many different things on board ships, because with the ports too. Plus, once again too, is remember that this is really the only ship that actually sails, that operates in Hawaii year round, okay? And she's small, of course, too, just 2,100 guests, and she's sailing on 7-night cruises in Hawaii, which I think is gorgeous too. What's fun too is they had different enhancements. One, of course, they added was actually Starbucks in the Capitol Atrium on Deck 5, as well as the new pickleball court and the sports complex. And some of the things they added too is they also debuted a new youth deck on board, areas in Deck 6, which is great too. And this actually was a previous area that was the SS American Library, Internet Cafe, and Chapel. But they've got different things too they've done too. And they've got their Shuffles card room. Also, it's just 70,000 gross registered tons. Actually, is a creation of 12 new club balcony suite cabins, also 3 interior staterooms, and they've got, of course, new additions. Really give guests more accommodation choices too with Pride America too. So keep in mind too, because once again, before she kicks off the summer season in the Mediterranean, the ship actually featured new staterooms, this refreshed aqua park, and also their expanded by Beach Club too. Once again, Pride America, of course, sails in Hawaii, which is great too. So keep that in mind too, in case that's of interest to you too. And then I do want to share more about Norwegian Cruise Line. Yes. Okay. As mentioned, they've got a new ship coming out next year, but their new ship, the Norwegian Aqua, actually just debuted in April. And she was christened, which is great. And like I said, they did a special christening. It's their third in their Prima class ships, and it's larger, 10% larger than their other Prima class ships, but also has some new amenities. And as far as what makes Aqua a little bit different, what they're doing too is she just debuted, was christened, of course, in April, which is really fun too. They've got some new features. What they did was they decided to take off, they had a racetrack. Okay, I saw it on one of their ships too. They decided to take out the racetrack, and it was great as far as their first 2 Prima class ships, but they decided that it took up quite a lot of landscape, okay? And it was only used certain times during the day too. And in addition, of course, while it was being used, it could only serve a small number of guests too at the time. So what they decided to do was they decided to actually replace that racetrack, more space to play with, amenities and serving more people and make better use of that space too. So what they did was they have a beautiful pool area. It's new. Like I said, it's on the new ship too, but the pool and pool deck are larger. And once again, that's what they did too, is they it's not just adding extra deck space, it's also sections are added midsection to extend the length of the ship too. Also, they have their Vibe Beach Club, which is great. This is actually an adults only area, okay? And it's double in size on the ship. It has more lounge chairs with really, really plush cushions. They get whirlpools, cabanas available on the 16th floor space. It has its own private bar. Once again, this is actually adults only, so it's called Vibe Beach Club for adults only on board the ship. Also, they've got their Aqua slide coaster. Slides aren't really anything new as far as Norwegian Cruise Line's first premium class ships, but with this one on Norwegian Aqua, it's their first blended roller coaster and water slide at sea. And what they did was it steers around the ship's funnel. I saw pictures, really, really pretty. I'll find a picture sometime to share with you too, but also this is in addition to their 10-story dry slide that dangles off the edge of the ship. And like I said, in this one, they've got only one dry slide instead of two on this ship, which adds more deck space, okay, as far as their infinity pool areas too. And it's great too. So once again, like I said, the previously the racetrack really it actually charged people with points. In this case, really adding more pool deck space, a new pool area, which is great too, so that's good too. Also, they've got different types of dining options. They've expanded things too. Something they did too is actually in their indulged food hall, they actually have a new plant-based option too, which is great. And they got that too, which is great. So plant-based options is really, really great on board this ship. Also, they've got the Commodore room, which includes their main restaurants, okay? Not twice as big as the ones before. And they've got different, of course, these have a different theme, of course. And they're part of the included package. Also, they've got some specialty dining areas too. What they do is they have a new Thai restaurant called, I think it's pronounced, let me see if I pronounce it correctly, it's Suk Hak Hai. And it's just a Thai restaurant. There's a charge in order to dine there. They've got their sushi restaurant, Hibachi Grill, the American Steakhouse, Mexican restaurant, and they've got their Italian Anda. And once again, too, is they've got different bars, of course, too, which is great. And they've got their local bar and grill, which is akin to a sports bar on board. It's got more upright spaces and more open screens, of course. Variety of different games, too, and matches, too. And also what's really fun, too, is on board this ship, they've got their first Prince-inspired show, which takes place on Aqua. And it's actually a tribute to Prince. It's called Revolution, A Celebration of Prince. It's a complimentary show which really takes place at least once during each sailing of the ship, too, and was on the was at a cruise conference, the Cruise Lines International Association conference back in April. In the evening, they've got a big gala dinner thing where they present awards. But they did was actually showed as part of this Revolution, A Celebration of Prince, which was really great too. So phenomenal too. And also we got as far as the who christened the ship. Okay, in this case, Norwegian Cruise Line actually had a godfather christen the ship. They've done it previously, which is fine because ships don't necessarily have to be christened by a female. That was like a tradition years and years ago. But once again, Norwegian Cruise Line has also had godfathers christen their ships. One was actually Pitbull. I was there. It was amazing. But what they do was, in this case, they had actor Eric Stonestreet, and he stars in ABC's Modern Family. He was the ship's godfather, too, as he christened the ship, which is great, too. And beautiful. Just beautiful things are doing by the ship. I'm writing about it right now, too. And like I said, it just... once again, I mentioned, too, they got more plant-based food options, too, as far as dining. More about that, too. Because really, there's a growth as far as people interested in healthy and vegetarian dining, too. And with the, on board the Norwegian Aqua, what they did was they've got more plant-based options in their menus. And in their indulged food hall, guests can actually place orders from various food stands the tabletop tablets and have it delivered to their seats, of course. And what's great too is instead of just a sales station, its first two ships, Aqua has Plantieri, which is a plant-based venue serving salads and grain bowls with different types of proteins, including tofu, which is great. They've got more premium cabins too. They got two is on board their ship. They've got their own concept too, as far as a ship within a ship concept called the Haven. Actually, I see it when I was sailing one of their ships too. It was great, but it's their own, it has their own private area. It's called the Haven. Their own private dining room, bar, lounge, pool deck, area 2 for them. Staterooms, of course, too. So keep in mind too. Yeah, beautiful art too. Once again, too is it's really good. What they're doing too is, as mentioned, the cruise industry by themselves is really focusing on being net zero by 2050. Once again, Aqua relies exclusively on marine gas oil, which is really how we kind of distinguish it. So this means the Aqua has no scrubbers or scrubber towers, lower sulfur content, more energy efficient operations, and marine gas oil is a focus of their newer ships too. And what's really great too, that's really kind of fun too, and we'll share a video of the christening too, and then something else too, of course, is with of course the new rock cruising ship coming out, of course, this year, Star of the Seas. Okay, and with Star of the Seas, it's mentioned as Royal Caribbean's new ship, and she is similar to sister ship, the Icon of the Seas. What they're doing too is, I think I mentioned last week in my show, is actually they decided to have they announced the Godmother for Star of the Seas, which is launching in August this year. They announced that Diana Ross is going to actually be christening the ship, okay, which is great. And as mentioned, similar to Icon of the Seas, Star of the Seas is going to showcase 8 different neighborhoods on board the ship, and it's going to also have different neighborhoods that include Thrill Island, Chill Island, Aquadome, and the Central Park. Has more than 40 different options as far as dining, also bars and drinking on board too. Also entertainment has 4 different venues and styles, including air, ice, water, and theater too, which is great. And of course, with the Star of the Seas, it's really attractive for cruises of all ages too. Okay, and like I said, they've got for families, of course, too. They've got a Surfside neighborhood, complete with the Lemon Post Bar, other new experiences. And for adults only, they've got their Cloud 17 retreat. And it also has a swim up bar, okay, it's swim and tonic bar, as well as an infinity pool at the Hideaway. And also, they've got a skywalk course, a ropes course, and thrill ride too. And it's got different types of slides that really appeal to different kind of people too. Plus, similar to Icon of Seas, Empire Supper Club, Star of the Seas is going to have their Lincoln Park Supper Club. Guests can expect a 1930s Chicago-style multi-course experience with live entertainment, which is great too. Also, they've got something kind of fun too on board too, as far as ship, as far as entertainment. They're having Back to the Future musical, okay? And it's their new Back to the Future musical, and it's really fun. They're doing too, and it just they did different. They actually work on this since rehearsals, whatever too. It's great too. They got different entertainment on board too. But I think it's kind of fun to see Back to the Future musical, which is really fun, isn't it? Yes. It was like to go to Back to the Future musical, right? But it's really fun what they're doing too. And as mentioned, with Star of the Seas coming out in August this year, it's building up a lot of excitement because once again, different areas and 8 different neighborhoods, which is great, and different areas for people, adults only, people with families. It's really great too, and just so much fun too with new ships. And also, as they also have, like I said, a chief dog officer too on board the ship coming up. Yes, she's a golden retriever, and she's already adopted. Okay, sorry, something came up. Sorry, but anyway, I didn't mean to gap. But anyway, no, what they're doing too is, of course, they've got their chief dog officer on Star of the Seas, which is great. But it's great too, and her name is actually Sailor, and she's a golden retriever.
Ooh, you get echo.
Yes, sorry. But anyway, it's great because, like I said, with like Star of the Seas, their other ship, Icon of the Seas, had the first chief dog officer. Okay, Icon of the Seas came out last year. Golden Retriever, she's there to create joy and happiness for people on board the ship, including their crew members too, because the crew members really like being able to see, maybe pet, of course, Rover. Okay, and she's had her chief dog officer since last year when she joined Icon of the Seas. She's not driving the ship with her paws, but she's really, really very cute. But also, they decided to have a new chief dog officer on their new ship coming out, Star of the Seas, in August. Her name is Sailor. She's really, really cute. And I'll show you more about her too. She's just adorable. Just so cute, just beautiful. And right now she's still a bit of a puppy. I think she's about 3 or 4 months old, being trained too. But it was great because it's a way to kind of really have people just kind of connect with dogs too. Because we talk to them, don't we? I mean, they're like kids walking forward with 2 feet, with 4 feet instead of 2. And like I said, with Sailor, she is so cute. And she was just at their company headquarters a while back, Royal Caribbean's headquarters in Miami. So she's actually there with Michael Bailey, the president of Royal Caribbean. He was holding her. And finally, she got a chance to actually meet Rover. So I think we're going to share more about Norwegian Cruise Line's Aqua of the Seas christening, which really was phenomenal. And then we can also share that one video of Sailor, who is going to be the new chief dog officer on Star of the Seas. But how fun. Just how fun. Because they're cute. Like I said, it's just cute.
Yep, trying to get the one with the dog and everything like that. But you have the other one that you sent me, and we're going to play that right now. And I'll see if I
Okay.
can't find the one with the dogs as well. But we do have the one that you sent me about the dedication and all along those lines. So let's see
Okay,
if we
the
can't
second
get
one is
that going.
actually in the same, like I said, separate email, same email. So,
Yeah, I saw it was in there. I was just trying to
okay.
download it because the other one was downloadable. But we'll
Good.
see if we can get this one going and
That's
if I
fine.
can get this. But let's check out this minute one that is about the christening you were talking about.
Yes. Aqua. Yes.
Aqua.
The belle of the ball, our brand new baby, Norwegian Aqua. Let's take a look at what she has to offer to our guests. Our private island in the Bahamas, Great Stirrup Cay. This island is being expanded and upgraded for our guests of all ages. Look at the size of that pool, y'all!
Norwegian Aqua's godfather, Eric Stonestreet.
It's a thrill for me to be here in Miami to christen the magnificent Norwegian Aqua. And may God bless her and all who sail upon her. 3, 2, 1.
Wow, what a great christening party. And all along those lines, might have to get the dog release and that commercial. 'Cause I know we showed them the last time, but it's having a problem right now. So I might have to add it to our liner notes later on and everything
That's
like that.
fine.
But
That's fine. That's fine. But it's really fun to have another godfather. Okay.
yeah,
I mean,
yep.
because the point is too is really when they announced they're gonna Pitbull christen their ship, I was there. I was invited.
Wow.
It's amazing. I think that was maybe 2016, and they selected me the first godfather of one of their ships, and it's outdoors, of course, in Port Miami. I was down there. And then what they did was Frank DeRio was the chairman. They did the bump after they got the christening done, of course, too. And then Pitbull actually performed a half-hour concert outdoors for us, too. It was amazing. Oh, my gosh.
That sounds like that would have been a fun party.
It was beautiful. It's just one part of the beautiful christening they did, too, because cruise lines do amazing things with their christenings, of course, too, which is wonderful. Another time when I was actually on a christening with was Embassy Cruises, a christening ship in Port Miami, too. They actually had different people perform, including Ricky Martin performed.
Mm-hmm.
It took place in December. They also had Andrea Bocelli perform, too, with the children's choir created in Haiti, which is beautiful, amazing. But they have great people that are singing, performing, too, and a lot of times, too, is I know that with Embassy Cruises, they've also had other, I know Andrea Bocelli has performed also. When I was at the christening, one of the christenings, too, about 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, they actually had Matteo Bocelli, his son, perform, too.
Right. Well, like I told you before, because I was actually talking to him, because we had a couple of events last week. We're actually dealing with some maintenance issues at the cultural center that I'm usually recording you from and working from and everything like that. But last week we had 2 events. So now one of them, our newer tech guys, we're talking to EJ, the old tech guy, who is now working as an entertainment coordinator and director. I forget his exact title, but he's definitely in the entertainment office for Virgin and one of the Virgin ships and everything like that. So he seems like he's enjoying the boat life. He's been out there now for, I want to say, almost a month and a half or 2 months or something like that. So he's definitely enjoying that job.
Oh, yes. It's amazing, too. Like I said, they got a new ship coming out, too, later this year, too. But I had a chance to see the Scarlet Lady when she finally came over to start sailing. It was in 2021. I got invited to be on the ship for the evening, which we got on board the ship. It was fall of 2021. I was at Sea Trade Cruise Global Conference because they had it in the fall instead of in the spring like they normally do. But they invited me and other people to actually come down to Port Miami. And back then, of course, too, is they did this rapid antigen test, too, for us, too. They would board a ship. But to actually see the ship itself and we had a beautiful place to dine, different restaurants. Entertainment was fantastic. It was just gorgeous.
Sounds like it was real fun. So you thoroughly enjoyed yourself on that cruise and had a good time on.
No, it was like before they christened the ship, but they had us come on board, which is great.
Right.
The ship had been christened, I think, over in Europe. But anyway, she came over and they invited media people like me to be on board the ship before she sailed next day. But amazing, the ship. The thing is, what I really like about them too is it's adults only, of course, too.
Right.
And they don't have a main restaurant. Okay. Cruise lines have usually bigger restaurants, main restaurants, they have options for
Right.
dining too. But in this case, with Virgin Voyages, they don't do that. Different restaurants on board the ship, different types of cuisine, and there's some surcharge for it, which is great too. And the energy was fantastic. Just different things to see and do, and just for the dining, it was amazing. You know.
Sounds totally amazing, and hopefully, who knows, maybe when he comes back in town, because I don't think he comes back from this one because it was a 6-month trip. So I think he's due back in October, which is why I'm thinking it was May that he left and everything along those lines. So maybe we'll get a chance to bring EJ on and learn all about what he's been doing with that cruise and the cruise industry, and maybe you'll even have him in one of your books, even though a couple of the books have been women-oriented and all along those lines. So whenever you're ready, we'll end with Sylvia Earle, but then we oftentimes end with that and everything,
That's
and
good.
then
No, that's fine. That's good too. Thank you. Yes.
no problem. So we'll end with Sylvia Earle and what she talks about in terms of the nature and all that they do for that particular line and everything. And I'll try to get the dogs on the liner note so that folks can see the fun dog picture and everything like that. But right now, let's get on that.
Her name is Sailor.
Sailor, right?
Yep.
So we'll check Sailor and Rover out in the liner notes and all along those lines. But right now, let's check out and get on out of here.
Great.
I'm Dr. Sylvia Earle, a marine biologist, oceanographer, explorer, and I'm passionate about the protection of this blue planet. I grew up next to the ocean in the Gulf of Mexico, and I witnessed how much the ocean has changed and how marine life has been endangered. But I know there is still time to help the ocean, which is why I was drawn to the Aponte family's sustainability mission. Explorer Journeys has a genuine ambition to connect people with the wonders of the sea, its marine life, its communities, spiritually, physically, and intellectually. We share the same values and have the same objectives to deepen people's relationship with the ocean, to explore, protect, and restore. Explorer Journeys calls it the ocean state of mind, a sensibility that will ensure the protection of this precious blue planet. Through my foundation, Mission Blue, we're working on ocean conservation, inspiring hope with champions across the world. Beginning with my extraordinary role as godmother to Explorer One, we will be heralding a meaningful collaboration between myself, Mission Blue, and Explorer Journeys and the MSC Foundation towards preserving and restoring the world's oceans, the blue heart of the planet.